All right, y'all, today we're going to look at what we're going to call a 5-number summary. So let me just kind of show you what the vocabulary is that I'm going to be using in the next couple of videos to help you out. So what we're going to use this 5-number summary for is what we call for a box plot. So a box plot is a way to graph certain data that's given to us. So data are just the numbers themselves. We've talked about median before in 6th grade, and median is the number in the middle when your numbers are ordered from least to greatest. Mode is the number that happens the most often. So what number appears the most, okay? Now with that being said, there could be one number, more than one number, or no mode. So if no number repeats itself, then that data has no mode. The minimum is your smallest number, your maximum is your highest number. We're also going to talk about what's called a quartile. And if you think of that first part of it, quart sounds like quarter, so a quarter is 1/4. So a quartile is 1/4 of your data. So in this bar graph, your quartile is 1 out of your 4 boxes shaded. Then we have our range. So our range is also what we call the spread, and that's from your maximum to your minimum. What's the difference between those? Then in the next video, we're actually going to talk about what's called our inner quartile range. Okay, so inner, think about that prefix between, quartile, so between quartiles, and range or the spread. So this will come up in the next video. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to use this box plot. So when we have a 5-number summary, let me show you how we're going to do that, okay? So a box plot looks like we have a box right here, and we have these 2 endpoints, okay? So let's say that they gave me these numbers, and I went ahead and listed them in order from least to greatest just to kind of help us out. So if you have a set of data and those numbers are not put in order from least to greatest, that's the first thing you want to do, okay? So let's start with the very beginning. Minimum, that means your smallest number. So because I've already put these in order from least to greatest, I can see that my minimum is 2. Then my maximum, my highest number, again, I've already put them in least to greatest, is 20. Okay? So now, we're going to break these up. So what we're going to talk about is your lower quartile. Well, quartile is going to be that lower percent. But before we get to that, and our upper quartile, the upper percent quartile is that 1/4 of our data we'll look at in just a minute. Let's look at our median. So the median is the number in the middle. But in order to find the true median, your numbers have to be in order from least to greatest. Okay? So if I were to cross the 2 out, the 20 out, and so on and so forth, if I crossed out the 2 and then the 20, the lowest, the highest, and I use the light purple on here so we can still see those numbers, then the lowest, then the highest, lowest, highest, lowest, my new highest, my new lowest, my new highest. And I go back and forth until I find the true middle number. Okay? Now when we get there, we have 2 middle numbers, but there's something in the middle of 11 and 12. So what happens is if you have an even set of numbers, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 numbers. So that's 10 numbers over here and 10 numbers over here. You still have a middle number. Median is in the middle. So if you have 2 middle numbers, you're going to find the average of them. So we add them and then divide by how many numbers we added. So we could say, okay, well 11 plus 12, and I'm just going to show you on the calculator just to show you, but some of you probably have already gotten it. 11 plus 12, the sum is 23. I added 2 numbers, so I know the middle number is 11 and 5/10. That one you might not have to do the calculation for because you can see that 11 and 12, think about money, $11.50 is right in the middle. So that's my median, okay? And I'll use a darker purple down here to label it. I wanted to use that light purple so we could still see those numbers up there. So our median is 11 and 5/10. That's my true middle number. Even though I don't see that in this data, I know that that 11 and a half breaks it up. So your median breaks up, you have 10 numbers on the left from that median, 10 numbers on the right of that median. If you had an odd amount of numbers, there would have been only one true middle number. So just something to think about. So we are going to break this up into quartiles. So that means fourth of our data. Well, if you think about it, this is half. So if I want a quarter of the whole data, I take the other half. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So what I'm going to do is break that up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how I have this? So my lower quartile is going to be over here. So here's my median right here. So over here, I want to break this up into equal parts. So right here is quartile 1. That's supposed to be a Q. It got kind of messy. So my lower quartile is right here. Well, here again, when I find the lower quartile, I cross off my lowest, and now my highest, which is now 11. So let me show you how I did that. Then my lowest, my highest, my lowest, my highest, my lowest, my highest, and I have two middle numbers. Okay? Well, you have to think about it. If I have two middle numbers, 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. If it's the same middle number, then that's going to be your quartile. So the lower quartile is the median of the numbers to the left of the median. The middle number of those lower numbers. The upper quartile is going to be the median to the right. This is actually the number in the middle of those numbers that are higher. Okay? And again, this will just take practice, so you might have to rewatch this video just to see what I did. So if I'm looking for the upper quartile, I'm looking at this set of data. So my lowest is 12, highest is 20. Low, high, low, high, low, high. And now I have two middle numbers. So what is in the middle of 14 and 18 is going to be my quartile 3. So here again, we can use our calculator just for right now, but you need to know how to do this without it. 14 plus 18, and then divided by 2, because I added two numbers, is going to be 16. And that makes sense that 16 is in the middle, because 14 plus 2 is 16, and 16 plus 2 is 18. Okay? So our 5-number summary are 5 numbers that we needed. Minimum, maximum, so that's 2 numbers, median, then quartile 1 and quartile 3. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. And basically what I said in the video as I taught are your steps right here. Okay, so first order the data of the numbers least to greatest, then complete the 5-number summary. Now we're going to label the number line. So we've already provided a number line for you, but in case they didn't have one, sometimes you'll use all these these points. Sometimes you won't use all of them. So now I'm going to show you how to graph this box plot, to how to put this onto here. So our minimum was 2, so I'm going to put a dot above that 2. Our maximum was 20, so I'm going to put a dot above that 20. The median was 11 and 5/10, and we use this lighter purple, so 11 and 5/10, put right there. Then the lower quartile we said was 6. And then our upper quartile was 16. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a box plot. So the box is always going to go between quartile 1 and quartile 3. So 6 and 16. So I'm going to make my box plot like this. Okay? Then your median is always going to be represented in your box plot with a line through it. Okay? Then we're just going to draw our little lines from my minimum to quartile 1 and from quartile 3 to my maximum. Okay? So putting this all together, what this represents, this one is your minimum, this is your max. Minimum, maximum. Then this part, the first part of that box, is going to be quartile 1. Then the end of the box right here is quartile 3. Let me kind of explain this a little bit more as well. And then the line always in your box plot, this is going to be your median. So let's kind of break it up and see what this represents. Okay? All right. So if you have a set of data, that's 100% of your numbers. Well, quartile 1, that's 25% of your data. When we counted earlier, we had 20 numbers. Well, 25% is like taking 1/4. 1/4 of 20, or 20 divided by 4 is 5. And look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have another quartile. What that means is we're going to have 25% of our numbers in each group. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each time we broke it up, we have 5 numbers in each section. Okay? So from here to here, from the numbers 2 to 6, 25% of our numbers were there, even though none of those repeated. Then from quartile 1 to the median, that's another 25%. Well, our numbers were between 6 and 11.5, even though our highest number was 11, and so on and so forth. So each part of this represents 25% of your data. Even though this part looks bigger than maybe this part, that just means we had some more numbers over here, okay? All right, so we're going to use this in our next couple of lessons. In our next video, we're going to talk about interquartile range. This first video was just to show you how to take your data and create your box plot and what they represent when they're giving you a box plot. Sometimes you don't have to draw one. So here we said we draw a dot above the number line for each summary number, which we did. We box the 3 center dots and connect the min and the max with those lines. Okay? Again, I know there was a lot of information in this video, so if you do need to rewatch it, go ahead and do that.